Welcome everyone. So I'm here to give you an quick idea about what all prospects do we see for our students and the general prospects when it comes to career. We are part of Amity Future Academy, both me and Goresh, along with other professors. So of course, we come from we carry an industry background, and the programs that are other programs, as you can see here, there are data science, BA, and blockchain, and other programs that have been designed. The reason they have been designed is primarily because these are the current demands of the industry, and these inputs are gathered by university staff from industry people. And I belong to the technology or software industry, and I have been part of this industry for last 22 years now. And I have spent my time transitioning from someone who has worked in telecom. Hello. Yeah. So someone who has spent time in telecom and graduated into startups, media industry, and screening industry. So and also the analytics industry. So that's how my career has graduated from one industry to the other. So which in turn become a vital input for my own understanding of what are difficulties or what all challenges that these industries individually face. For example, when I was part of the telecom industry, we had a huge problem in terms of analyzing data from every subscriber, right? So we were, getting tons of data from every subscriber, and we, of course, everyone would like to process the data, and the reason to process the data is to understand whether we can, under, uh, get some insights out of it or develop some insights from it. So those times, and I'm talking about early 2000, those times, the machine learning and its associated algorithms were not very evolved. But I mean, you come around 2010 onwards, you would notice that there is a sudden explosion in this particular area, primarily because machine learning started to show results. Neural networks started to become popular, and neural network also become capable of processing large volumes of data in a shorter amount of time. And accordingly, all of those algorithms which were initially looking impossible to run on a given set of data were now looking as if they can be run on huge volume of data in just a matter of few minutes. So this progression from being, having to spend few days and getting a result. This used to be 1998, 1999. Though the algorithm existed long before that, but the compute and the resource were not easily available, and not that powerful as they are today. So in effect, what it has done to the industry as of today is that the compute is easily available. You have a lot of cloud service providers that you see: AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure. Uh, their effect on industry is such that it became easier for everyone to access compute, and that too at a reasonable price. So corporates who were dealing with large volume of data, they started to look into this accessibility and started to push their own technology departments to start exploring this particular science, which later became machine learning and artificial intelligence. and accordingly, it turned out that there indeed is possibility to glean over the data in just matter of few minutes and understand if there are patterns hidden in it, understand if there is some insights that can be obtained from it, understand if there are hints lying inside the data. Accordingly, various industries started adopting it, and as a result, we came to a situation where now everybody wants to use machine learning and its associated programs like data science in every department and in their own domain to the best possible extent, right? So when we started designing programs within Amity, and we started collecting feedback from various industry veterans, and based on those feedback, we devised the program in such a manner that we ensure that while we give you a theoretical understanding of various topics that we have made part of the program, at the same time we bring in the case studies which are driven or which have been taken from either our own professors, our own teachers who are part of this program might themselves have tackled it, or they would have taken it from their own experience of having getting exposed to it, or they would have been borrowed from established academic partners like Wharton. So accordingly, the set of case studies that we ended up gathering are all to give our students some kind of an idea as to in how many possible ways the knowledge that they've gathered through our programs or through other means, they themselves can start applying it in their own domains. So with this, let me come to the main topic. When it comes to career prospects in machine learning, most of you would be already aware that clearly this is a hot topic nowadays in industry, and it is hot because it has given results to the industry, and that is why most of the industries are very keen to adopt various methodologies that are taught in machine learning. They want to understand how this particular science or this particular area in technology can be helpful for their own needs. And if you many of you would be part of the industry already, if you see that your own industry, your own department is in the midst of gathering data, or is at a level where they can gather data from their own subscriber, from their own devices, from their own visitors to their websites, it became natural for them to start storing these data in such a manner that it can be further processed, it can be further ran into neural algorithms, it can be further fed into machine learning pipelines so as to derive some kind of output which could be beneficial for either taking a business decision or deciding a business strategy, right? So clearly when it comes to a situation where you see every industry owner or a department or a technology owner in a company is battling with the data that they have in and around them, they clearly want those engineers in house who can help us, who can help them go over this data in a fashion where it starts to make sense, and also devise strategies which can help not only gather more data around it, but also develop some kind of dashboards and analytics on top of it. So in this particular progression, it became possible for industry to to send a shout out to academics, to academia or universities to start preparing, people and students in that direction as well. So every industry, whether it doesn't matter whether you're part of a solar industry or a mechanical industry or software industry, or let's say manufacturing industry or finance industry or a retail industry, everywhere there is an issue in terms of understanding how do I collect data, let's say, and if I'm able to collect data, then how do I make sense of it? What all algorithms would become meaningful for me to process this data? What all pipelines do I need to establish in order to make my data pass through it and eventually produce an output that I can, make use of it? So from a prospect point of view, you would see that machine learning do not give you an advantage just in a technology domain, right? It gives you an advantage in every domain that you may be currently part of. For example, some of my students were part of manufacturing industry, and they were part of my initial batch, and they used to send us questions in terms of how do I apply machine learning know-how in the industry like manufacturing, and how do I make a proposal to my own management in terms of suggesting them how they themselves can make use of data that they are producing. So we had testimonials from those students where it was evident to us that the areas in which machine learning can be applied, big industry, everywhere its need can be justified. And you can see when most of the industry owner or the business owners, when they see that there is possibility to apply machine learning techniques starting from even, let's say, few, let's say, megabytes of data, and then they start to see that, yeah, okay, fine, I mean, if this is how its potential is, then let me also tune my own data collection strategies so that if I am collecting only a, let's say, small percentage of data from my, let's say, customers or consumers or subscribers, let me also collect additional data from them. So as a result, each industry, in my opinion, no industry is left untouched as of today. It has become, let's say, go-to term for a lot of business owners, and they want to know how machine learning techniques can be useful for their own business growth, for their own, uh, deciding or concluding a business strategy going forward. So gone into. It is getting deeply entrenched in the psyche of various business owners, and the primary reason has been that it has given results. And the latest, growth or latest advancements that are also happening in machine learning domain is actually strengthening this overall uh, understanding of business owners across the industry domains that yes, it has potential and it should be explored for this domain, this particular technique or technology. If they have to tune, if they have to modify their own processes, if they have to, hire newly skilled or freshly skilled machine learning engineers, if they have to train the in-house engineers, in any which way, if some strategy change has to be made, people are even willing to take that up, just so that the machine learning techniques and its advantages can be exploited by the businesses, right? So, Goresh, any questions that are we getting any questions from attendees? Hello. Okay. So let me take you through the programs that we have in place. And this is our website. And as you can see, um, this is our instructors are primarily from industry, and inputs have been designed by taking inputs from industry veterans, and and at the same time, being part of Amity, our courses are especially different in the sense that while you can attend the courses online, at the same time we give you an offline experience because Amity has campuses in and around India and abroad. So our classroom sessions, or we organize sessions or workshops at our offline campuses just to extend our programs a bit more, just to experience our students firsthand, and to give them a one-to-one feedback, and to meet them and to understand their concerns. This helps us improve our own courses. This also helps us address their concerns then and there. This also helps us give our students confidence in terms of uh, finding benefits by associating with Amity. And while the university tries to organize seminars, workshops from time to time, we at the same time also ensure that through online mechanism, you are also um, welcomed to raise questions, to ask questions in our various forums. Each program has a online forum, and as a result, students participate in that. And in one of in our machine learning program, we have ran various poster competitions as well. These competitions has encouraged our students to come out with the innovative ideas to present their own use cases. And if you go to different programs that are there, you would see that there is a program, of course, in machine learning. There is program in big data, and in fact, if you see this program came out of the need that we felt from our first batch participant, where most of them were actually in their mid career, and they were managers in their own domain, in their own departments, and they wanted to understand that though our owners are asking us to explore these areas, but and maybe they have hired engineers of that particular skill, but at the same time get to understand how do I lead such projects, right? So if you are a manager today, and you are part of the industry where the your own manager or your business head, and they decide that we should explore machine learning as an area of interest, and if you have a prior understanding of at a high level uh, certain experience as to what this technology is all about, what all it entails, how does it help me as a manager derive and give confidence to my own management, how I can ensure that my programs which are in a currently program have actually succeeded in securing promotions, because they eventually became torchbearers in their own organization. They gave enough confidence to the management, whereby they led the program, machine learning based program within their organization. And they also and the reason they were able to lead that program is because they were capabilities of machine learning, so they were able to interface with data science and machine learning engineers. This gave them an opportunity to not only expose the business to the program, but also understand how these across the departments within a within a business. So if you see these stats, you would realize there's a special stat here that some of our students has gone ahead and also changed their career altogether by having learned few techniques and perfect. And they were, I used to say, a student who was in power plant and who happened to be, he ended up making a transition to a software industry, and today he is at a 25% hike in salary, and transition has completely changed his own outlook towards the industry that we are encountering on a very regular basis. Do we have any questions there? You can put this in chat window as well. You would like to answer that. Hello, Goresh, can you hear me? Hello. Yeah, so there is, let me see if there are some questions. There is some question for Kanaya Mahajan. Kanaya, can you question on the chat window, please? Yeah, there is a message from Sharendra. Sharendra, can you you can write your questions on the chat window, please? Yes, there is a question from Kanaya. Do we offer internship? Yes, we assist our students. Our student counselor would assist in securing internship for our students. Okay. So Shalendra, you're welcome. Any question that you have, you can put it here. I'll try to answer those. So coming back to the original topic of the webinar, uh, where we wanted to give you an idea about how the career prospects in machine learning are quite interesting and are very high in demand, is primarily because the data, which is the new oil as it is said today, the data has exploded across the industries, right? Because the different kinds of measurements that have become possible, different kind of measuring instruments have become possible, different kind of IoT devices have become possible, and each such device, each such interaction is leading to development of a event, and every such event is a matter of an interest to the business owner. And if you're able to collate these events, if you're able to you know put this event into different buckets and relate these buckets with each other, there are some insights that are possible which can be obtained from it. So this is leading to a situation uh, where uh, business owners and industry owners are seeking engineers who are already qualified in this domain, because the industry owners would like to understand that when they hire you, are you able to produce relevant or let's say in a very short amount of time, are you able to give some returns to them in terms of delivering some projects, in terms of delivering some initial insights, in terms of delivering a data processing capability, in terms of giving an idea to the product team or to the strategy team, some inputs which can help them take some strategy changes or some directional changes. So all of this has resulted in the prospects becoming quite bright in various industries, and these prospects has have actually been skyrocketing nowadays, because while the industry is realizing that there are tons of possibilities to explore machine learning, at the same time the technology itself is evolving pretty fast, right? Let me answer. There are a couple of questions from Kanaya Majan. So Kanaya, if you are part of final year student in MCA program, if there is possibility for you to extend your reach by enabling these online programs which are specifically tuned for audiences, those who cannot attend off campus, who are either let's say are already getting into the job, and but still want to enhance their skills and accordingly their career prospect. So you should enroll for this future academy programs as well. So let me see if I have more questions. Okay. And let me see. Vaibhav, do you have any question? Vaibhav wanted to ask some question. Vaibhav, I have unmuted you. You can ask the question. Okay, great. So I think Vaibhav Vaibhav got muted, but right. So I think there are no more questions, and let me end this session by uh, giving my final thoughts. And so, when it comes to career prospects, yes, of course, you can hear from horse's mouth. I am part of the industry as well, and I have been consulting various industry partners. I am, um, trying to consult various industry owners as well. And everywhere there is a need to understand that how do I hire my students who are already familiar with the domain. And industry is typically not in favor of training people on the job. They would like to have people who are already trained, right? They would like to welcome those students who have prior exposure to the technology, so that from the day one they are useful to the business. As a result, if you are making an attempt to upgrade your skill, if you are wanting to look for a job, it is my advice to you that spend your time in this technology. It has many subdomains within it. For example, computer vision is a subdomain within it. So you would realize that you may find your own interest areas, and as a result your interest area would become your work itself, right? So try engaging yourself into upgrading the skills. And if those skills are related to machine learning or data science, then clearly your chances of getting a job or your chances of getting a promotions are very, very high. These stats speak about themselves as well. And uh, our programs, though they are designed with an inputs from industry, their case studies belong to such area. It is possible for you to engage with us through multiple channels. Our offline contact programs are specifically meant to get our students who are from that city to interact with us one to one, and have their questions asked. And during workshops we make it easy for them to understand concepts even better. So there is question from Weber. Webber is saying that what are the career prospect for someone who is already 15 years in IT? So Webber, uh, this is a very fair question, and this has come up a lot of times, because when you are, let's say, 15 year in the industry, you are entrenched in your own domain, right? Then making a shift from uh, this particular domain to the newer domain is requires a lot of effort. But trust me, if you are able to demonstrate few of the data science or machine learning techniques, and if you're able to learn those, and you would find that whatever work that you are doing in your current career, in your current job itself, if you start to look around you, you would see that there is data all around you. And if you are someone who can collect this data and use this data to run some machine learning programs, and you would see there are some insights that can be developed. So become little self aware about the data in and around you, and collect those data, collect those interactions, try to run some machine learning programs on it, and once you have some sensible output, approach your supervisor, approach your business owner, and tell them that you have established a mechanism to collect data, and over time you also have processed this data, and as a result it became possible for you to derive some insight. So if you go with that input to your business owner, so they are pressed, or they are pushed into thinking as to how I can further extend these efforts so that more insights can be driven out of it. Okay, so no, it doesn't matter whether you are 15 years in experience or 18 years in the industry, as long as you are able to demonstrate that you have upgraded your skill, and you are good with learning new technologies, it is possible for your management to realize this potential in you, and they may end up giving you an opportunity, either becoming part of a team which is already engaged in machine learning technology and the domain, or under you they may start a program. You never know, right? I hope that answers your question, Vapor.
Yes, Ashish. Yeah, thanks for your valuable feedback.
Great. So with that, I think there are no more questions. So let me thank everyone who attended this session. Hopefully, I was able to answer a few questions here, and I was able to give some idea about what all bright prospects that we see in this domain. So do upgrade your skill, and you would be surprised by how many ways that it can benefit you. And thank you, everyone. Take care and stay safe.